I'm going to make a promise to you. I'll do my absolute best and everything in my power to keep improving this podcast and to bring the guests on you want to hear. All I ask of you is for you to subscribe, share, and rate this podcast below. It helps us reach more listeners and to grow as a platform. Thank you so much for your support, and it means the world to me. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Welcome back to the Growth Concepts, the first episode of 2025. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to everyone listening. And today, we're exploring some of the most valuable lessons I learned from 2024. This year has been a transformative year in so many ways, packed with challenges that made me stronger, breakthroughs that pushed me further, and powerful insights that would be worth carrying forward. In this episode, I'll be sharing my top 10 lessons I've learnt in 2024. And these lessons, I guarantee you, they will change your life as well. Let's dive straight into lesson 1, consistency. Consistency is key. It often is mentioned quite a bit, but let's break it down. What does it mean? Consistency is the act of showing up repeatedly, regardless on your mood, distractions, or circumstances. It's the power behind that incredible growth and the secret between that long-term progress. Think of it as brushing your teeth. One day doesn't change much, but when done repeatedly, it's transformative to your health, as well as reversing it, right? If you don't brush your teeth for one day, you may not notice it, but after a week, a month, you're going to start noticing it. That consistency is that progress. An example of this is at the beginning of the year, I committed myself to running. My first 5Ks took me over 45 minutes. I honestly thought there was something wrong with my lungs, let's be real. But by focusing on that consistency, that training, I went from struggling through each run to hitting almost sub-19s from 5K. I saw firsthand how consistency builds progress, and that steady effort helped me push through that self-doubt and that fear. This improvement wasn't about giant leaps, but those small, manageable tasks. Steady steps that got me closer to that goal. So lesson 1 being consistency. Stay consistent and you will see that long-term progress. Lesson 2, the power of one more. Next, we have the power of pushing for one more. This lesson is about squeezing out just a little bit more effort than you think you have. It could be that one more rep, that one more sales call, or one more page you're going to read in a book. Over time, that extra effort compounds, building not only skills and accomplishments, but also your inner strength and resilience. For example, I started applying this one more mindset in my gym and running life. When I think I've done enough, I always ask myself, what if I did just one more? That one more rep in the gym can make that massive progress over the year. That one more email to a potential guest for my network. By taking that extra step each day, I've seen 365% return on my growth. Improvements in all my areas that I may have previously struggled with. This approach isn't about massive changes. It's about those small, repeatable steps that build long-term success. Lesson 3, show up even when you don't feel like it. This one might be the hardest I've found. Showing up even when the last thing you want to do is to show up. When you can push yourself to act despite low motivation, you're actually building the quality of grit. Grit is that unshakable strength that allows you to persevere, even when things get tough. It's easy to be motivated on good days, but on those tough days is where that real growth happens. This lesson struck me hard both in my fitness and in my networking for this podcast. On days when I didn't feel like running or was tempted to cancel a meeting, I'd push myself to go through with it anyway. What's fascinating about this lesson is that these challenges that happen often, with pushing through that, brought me unexpected rewards. I'd meet people who inspired me or offered help in ways I haven't anticipated. Even when nothing remarkable happens, I could feel that discipline strengthening, like a muscle growing each time. I resisted the urge to take the easy way out, just cancelling or not going for that run. It's about training your mind to act without exercise, making action feel like a second nature. An example of this, there was one morning, Saturday morning, I woke up around 6 a.m. I did not want to wake up, and I wasn't planning to get up to go for my 5K run at Parkrun. But I actually snoozed my alarm, and it was around 7 o'clock. The race started at 8. And I was like, let's just do it. So I pushed through that. Let alone that experience, I met a good mate, which has been on this podcast twice, Daniel Ellis. David Goggins illustrates this well in his book, Can't Hurt Me. He explains that anyone who's cozy in bed or watching TV can set these massive and ambitious goals, like running a marathon. But when it's actually time to take that first step, you're faced with this limiting belief or that real challenge. It's that crucial moment where your decision whether to push forward or to retreat shapes your character. Taking that step either builds you up or holds you back. I'll let you decide. Lesson 4 that definitely resonated with me is standing by your values and speaking up. Another valuable lesson this year is the power of standing to your values. Knowing what you believe in and your priorities and standards and staying true to it is what's essential to living an authentic life. Speaking up when something doesn't align with your values, whether it's in a workplace, relationship, or even within yourself, it can be challenging, but it leads to a life of integrity and self-respect for yourself. And it also improves your self-worth and helps that little voice in your head to quiet down if it's negative. I've come across moments when speaking up wasn't easy. It required facing discomfort and even risking some criticism. But each time I'd ask myself, what do I stand for? When that voice of belief gets you, you gain not only the respect of others, but also your inner voice and your worth. One of the most powerful things you can do for yourself is to identify your values and not compromise them. Think about what you stand for and don't hesitate to speak up when something challenges those beliefs. The more you practice this, the easier it will become to live a life that aligns with who you are. Lesson 5, start now. Don't wait for someday. The Rock said an amazing quote, which has always stuck in my head. Day one or someday. I'll let you decide that one. Too many of us seem to wait for the right moment, which really rarely happens, if ever. Life won't pause on us, and the time we have is precious. Don't waste it. Take the first step today. I want you to take a moment to think about one goal you've been postponing, or is it an investment, or maybe it's a skill you want to learn, a project you want to start, or even that routine you want to implement. Start it today, no matter what time it is you're listening to this. Even if it's just a small step. For example, I hesitated for months about joining a public speaking group because I feared speaking in front of people, stepping out of my comfort zone. But taking that first step was the key to building that confidence and connection. Whatever it is you're holding back or holding off on, remember that starting today means you'll be further along tomorrow. Lesson 6, surround yourself with people you want to become. This lesson is a powerful reminder of, like I said before, our environment shapes us. When you surround yourself with people who embody the qualities you aspire to, it encourages you to step up and grow. This principle can be applied to every area of life, whether it's career, fitness, relationships, or mindset. When you're around driven, positive, and goal-oriented people, their habits and outlooks rub off on you, helping you raise your standards and push beyond your comfort zone. And it can work negatively as well. It's important to distinguish which side your people feed. I've seen this firsthand when I surrounded myself with people who were disciplined in their routines and committed to personal growth. It changed the way I approached my own goals. For example, in my fitness journey, training with a PT who consistently shows up for workouts, pushing through challenges, and encourages me and each other made me more resilient and committed. And in the podcasting world, connecting with other podcasters and content creators inspired me to level up my own content and pursue conversations I might have been avoiding. If you want to get better at speaking, for an example, join a public speaking club. Being around great speakers will only help you become better too. One of the most impactful lessons here is that our environment doesn't just influence us, it actually forms who we become. Take a moment to reflect. Are the people you're spending your time with really pushing you forward to the person you want to become? This isn't about abandoning friends, but about being intentional with who you allow into your circle of influence. When you surround yourself with people who embody what you thrive to be, you're pushing yourself to grow into your best self. Lesson 7, this one has been a game changer for me. One of the most transformative lessons I've learned this year is the importance of putting yourself in a position for opportunity. You often hear that opportunities come to you. I've found they don't. They may do, but they're a lot slower unless you position yourself for opportunities. This means stepping out of your comfort zone, engaging in new experiences, and actively seeking out those environments where opportunities are likely to arise. It's about being productive and intentional about creating the conditions for success that you want to attract, rather than waiting around for the opportunities to come to you. For example, this year on September 27th, I made the conscious effort of starting a podcast, which opened up opportunities to meet amazing people in all fields of work and learn from them. I did this by attending various networking events with people in different industries. At first, it was very daunting and a bit out of my element, but I knew that staying in my comfort zone wouldn't lead to that growth I'm after. I'm unlocking those new opportunities by participating in these events. I met people who shared valuable insights on this podcast coming up as guests. These experiences have not only expanded my network, but also opened doors that I've never imagined were possible. Whether it's joining industry conferences, attending local meetups, or engaging in online communities, taking those steps have proven invaluable lessons. To summarize, putting yourself in a position for opportunity is about taking action and being present in spaces where growth can happen. Whether it's in your career advancement, personal development, or even fitness, or any area of life, actively seeking out and creating opportunities is key. Lesson 8, embrace failure as a learning opportunity. Failure is often seen as something negative, but in reality, it's an essential part for any growth and success. Even setbacks is a chance to learn, improve, and come back stronger. For example, this year I faced several setbacks that I could have taken as a failure and I just quit. For instance, there were projects that didn't turn out as expected, goals I didn't hit. However, by reflecting on these experiences, I realized that each failure taught me something valuable, whether it's a new approach, a better strategy, or a deeper understanding of my own capabilities. Instead of letting failures discourage me, I use them as a stepping stone to refine my skills and push myself further. This mindset shift has been illustrated in my personal and professional growth. I truly feel coming out of school, you fear failure because in school, when you fail, that's bad news. Even in uni, I can imagine, I'm not in uni, so I can't speak on that behalf, but when you fail, it's taught as it's bad. I feel like there's a lot of limiting beliefs on failure because of the traditional schooling system. Embracing failure doesn't mean aiming for it, but rather understanding that it's a natural part of any journey towards that progress. By learning from failure and viewing it then as opportunities for growth, you can build that resilience and continuous improvement. Remember, every failure is a step closer to achieving your goal. Lesson 9, prioritize your mental health. In a world that often prioritizes productivity and hustle, it's crucial to remember the importance of your mental health. Taking care of yourself mentally, as well as your well-being, isn't just about avoiding burnout. It's about thriving and living in somewhat a balanced life. Your mental health affects every aspect of your life, from relationships to work to your side project. And it deserves just as much attention and care as your physical health. For example, this year I made the conscious effort to prioritize my mental health more by incorporating regular mindfulness practices into my routine, whether it was through meditation, journaling, or simply just taking time to relax, go for a walk, and disconnect from technology. These practices have helped me stay grounded and maintain that clear mind. By focusing on my mental health and well-being, I found that I was a lot more resilient and better at handling stress and being present in my daily life. Prioritizing mental health means recognizing when you need a break, setting boundaries, and learning to say no, and seeking out help when needed. That's very important. It's about creating that supportive environment for yourself where you can thrive both professionally and personally. Remember, taking care of your mind is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Stephen Bartlett put it in a very good way in his book, The Diary of a CEO. Think of your health as a table. Everything on the table, each one of those represents something in your life, whether it's family, friends, your dog, or your fish. If your fish dies, you're still going to have everything else on the table. But if your health collapses, everything else collapses with it, and it's essentially pointless. So your health is the foundation to everything in life. Last but not least, lesson 10, invest in continuous learning. Continuous learning is essential for personal and professional growth, as you may know. In a rapidly changing world, staying curious and open-minded to new knowledge keeps you adaptable and innovative. Whether it's through formal education, online courses, reading, or learning from others, investing in your own growth is one of the best decisions you can ever make, in my opinion. For example, this year I made a commitment to continuous learning by setting aside time each week to read or take an online course or attend webinars. I focus on topics that not only interest me, but also enhance my skills and knowledge in areas related to my work or personal interests. This commitment has helped me improve my podcasting skills and speaking, and even explore new hobbies and interests which I may have not known. By making learning a regular part of your routine, I've discovered new passions and developed a deeper understanding of the world around me. Invest in continuous learning is about more than just gaining new skills. It's about fostering a mindset of growth and curiosity. It keeps you engaged, especially in this fast-paced world we're living in. It helps you solve problems and stay creative, as well as looking ways to prepare yourself for the future. Learning is a long life journey. There's always something new to discover. I really hope you've gotten something out of this episode today with me sharing my top 10 lessons I've learned in 2024. I encourage you to share this episode with someone you may know. Just one person. Help spread the word, and hopefully they can get something out of it as well. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. I hope you've started the new year strong, and I challenge each one of you to choose one of these lessons and commit to it over the next week. It could be anything. Being consistent in a new habit, speaking up about something important to you, or finally starting a project you've been putting off because it's been too scary. Pick up one lesson, apply it, and see the impact it may have on your life. Share your progress even on social media with me. I'd love to hear about it. Until the next episode, thank you so much for tuning in. Your support means the world to me. Until then, keep growing.